here we go. Dusk has set. That's how you say that, right?
Yes.
Dusk has set? Okay. Wanted to ask our resident English expert
Your English is
here,
improving
Papa
about
Smithy.
us. If we ever get an analyst desk, we're whacking you straight on it.
Oh, boy.
HWE Life, if you think about their draft, we already talked about kind of Olaf from ahead versus Olaf from behind, tempo jungling that we always speak about with Olaf. But more interesting to me is very early Kennen priority into the Aatrox when other stuff was open. What they do have is globals, they have hard crowd control, and they have a Kai'Sa. So there's a real chance that HWE Life can get creative. And to their credit, they're a team that through many metas has done kind of the proactive, weird lane swap at 7 to 10 minutes. Better than most. So I want to see if they try to catch one of SKT's side laners unaware, because Khan doesn't get to just pop his ultimate and run away if he's caught by crowd control into a swooping killer instinct from Sam.
Eyes here on the mid lane for now. Baker, you mentioned how his LeBlanc doesn't really need any introduction.
30 games in his career, famously did not lose before the 5th game of MSI 2015. That's 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Isn't that insane to think about?
Yeah.
How much has happened since then? Career win rate, 24 wins, 6 losses, 30 games played, 80% win rate. Still a legendary pick for him, even if the pop-off LeBlanc games haven't been as common in the past 4 years.
I'm all for aggressive mid lanes and trying to outplay your opponents and
Speaking
stuff
of
like
aggression,
that. Yeah.
They got the forward vision down. We had a very defensive vision set up, not spotted by the River Ward. Baker walking up. Bono's going to get the bad news. If you can get a 3 buff against Olaf, that's a really good start here. So I love the proactive plan from SKT, and they're going to get the enemy red buff.
Absolutely. Bono should have a good idea that's, well, he's being a little bit trumped here. As down will go the Raptors. Olaf loves his Raptors, but that is about it. Gonna ping him coming in. SKT very happy to see where he is going.
And isn't it cool that they had a level 1 plan? They acted on it. I think SKT kind of weeks 2 through 6, 7 of spring were able to do this a lot. And I would have been confident in saying that SKT with Glidden form in spring season were at times our best early game team. That wasn't necessarily as relevant at the start of this season, but nice to see them come back from Rift Rivals, not listless, but still with a plan, compared to Kingzone, who in our first game of the day looked half asleep in game number 1.
Yeah, I kind of want to forget that game 1.
Kingzone 2.
It was one of those ones where you're not referring that to anyone unless they want to watch some really bad League of Legends. So I'm glad we kind of got done with that and swept it under the rug. But the games after were a bit better. Hoping for more good games in this one.
Move away from Conqueror Olaf. This is back to Predator Olaf in this game. So going to be looking for some long lane ganks. And when we talked about the Kai'Sa swooping in from a lane gank, turns out Predator's pretty similar, right? So lane positionings here are going to be things to consider as the game goes on from the side of SKT. Because there's a lot of people that in different ways can lend help from outside of vision range. Kai'Sa, Olaf, and Galio all have ways to outnumber if the standard laning phase starts to break. So the moment that a lane swap happens, maybe that doubles down on HWE Life just going towards Rift Herald in 10 minutes, because it's in that disarray that things like Predator, that things like Galio ult, and things like Killer Instinct can actually get you those bonus objectives.
I haven't seen too much of the top lane. I like the Cull start from the side of Tall. He's really... It's a Cull with Kleptomancy up against the Aatrox. So the immediate response to the first pick from SKT with a second pick Kennen from HWE Life, they're really trying to milk all of the gold out of this lane as possible.
And there's only one way to call this. It's maximum disrespect, right? Going for Kennen into a lane that Aatrox can win as time goes on. Starting Cull. Picking a Yordle with a global taunt. And also taking Kleptomancy. This is basically, hey SKT, come camp top lane, see how that suits you. But SKT, for now, no appearances just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. Still very early here at 5 minutes. But you can see where the Jarvan is pathing towards the top side. Oh boy, he is going to be forced to use his cleanse. Good job by Faker to take that one.
And that was kind of back to the old school mid lane LeBlanc days for SKT, with 3 people rotating through the LeBlanc lane to try to find an angle. Global taunts, well, SKT have Faker. Every player tries to solo kill him just so they can tell their parents, their family, their friends they did it. Doesn't always lead to a match victory, but it's always a story to tell.
Yeah, it's about pride in that case. And I wonder what it feels like to be in that position, to have everybody just trying to kill you all the time.
Sure, it's one of those things that, you know, the price of celebrity, right? Faker had a recent interview where he was asked about those things. In the mid lane, he hits everything.
But picked up Cleanse from Lava. Not sure that he really had the range to kill the Zoe there, especially with that Ignite. But still a very nice trade there from Faker.
Faker definitely never asked to be a global celebrity, which sounds like too much to say about a Korean esports player, but it's true. He really is a global celebrity. He brought it on himself from his amazing play back in the formative days of the League of Legends competitive scene, and you know, it's definitely take the good with the bad, both in-game and out-of-game, I'm sure, being in the public eye as much as Faker. We get to slip below the public eye because the Korean fans, you know, listen to the Korean casters, so mostly we don't cause any commotion, and I prefer it that way, Valdez.
Keep a low profile.
Trying to.
I assume that was hard from the World's casting desk.
we were quite far away from the crowd for Worlds, it turns out. But not for the final.
Yeah.
Mentioned. That was a cool one. Clid comes in, wave clears in the jungle. Things have slowed down a bit, and we're life marginally ahead in goal, but that's going to be mostly the Kleptoman. Combo on the top side. Trying to slide in with a Mountain Drake, but Effort able to spot it out.
See if Bono gets discouraged at all, as Clid is going to be ignited here. Lava looking to hit spells. He hits the Ignite, which is good news.
And it was a good timing, right? Bot lane is completely disengaged, so enough backup there means they will pick up the Mountain Drake. Bit of a win more Drake, but definitely take it. It might mean that Tal gets an extra turret plate topside in the range versus melee matchup. None so far, but only first shot done, and probably going to be Gunblade on the way from Tal. We don't often see full on-hit build if you're going Klepto.
Trying to get on top of Khan here. The stun over the wall, but again, it is Aatrox.
Actually ends up being an amazing cooldown trade. 1E for your enemy ultimate. Pops over the wall. It's a Bilgewater Cutlass Apto, so not going to be a huge amount of damage behind the cannon ult just yet. So, actually, Khan wins out.
Hey, almost even got that red buff on the way back, but it was a good call to actually get out of the way because everybody was trying to collapse on into that Aatrox.
Elio not going to be massive in the 2v2 bot lane laning phase, kind of like the Taric, right? A bit more of a scaling threat rather than necessarily something to win lane. We always call Lux the 2 turret plate guaranteer. That's in any matchup. In this matchup should be 3 or 4. So this is going to be a very farmed Sivir, and with the current Sivir build of going straight into Infinity Edge as a second item, that just means a lot of burst coming in. Speaking of burst, Tal has to flash. Oh, he definitely got himself into an awkward spot with how he played that.
Yeah, it was a good play by Khan, but it was definitely more of a mistake there from Tal. After you use your Lightning Rush, you just have to get out of the way, because if you get hit by the chains, you're just kind of dead. But
speaking of,
had to flash. Yeah, speaking of death, maybe we can have Tal go down here.
Remember, the Slicing Maelstrom still on cooldown. Next wave comes in.
Oh boy.
Khan's
no
trying
flash,
to not
no
give it
ult.
away by Flash pushing this minion, but I think we're doing it.
No Lightning Rush.
No chance.
Oh boy. See you later, Kennen. First blood going to be given over to Clid, who actually ends up taking the gold from the kill.
Bit too easy there. I think Tal should have just left the top, and especially don't use your Lightning Rush for attack speed. Big misplay there from Tal, who has been, unfortunately, making more of those in summer compared to a pretty decent spring season. He was actually up there in MVPs, if you remember, in the first kind of 4 or 5 weeks of spring. Not the case in summer. Could be some roster changes, and I'm alive. Do like to change their rosters, you remember, Valdez. We see 4 or 5-man swaps from them sometimes.
maybe it could happen after game 1 if this continues to go in this direction.
The Rift Herald spotted the entrance. I'm assuming it didn't. And if they get contested at Rift Herald while the leads get piled on by SKT, that'd be really, really bad. Yep, lid's coming up.
All right, trying to make their way on in here. Khan is right behind him. Flag going to be thrown down just for the teleport. We're getting on in here. The Galio is so squishy right now. They just want to steal it, and it will go over to the Aatrox, who ends up hitting the eye. The burn comes down, and you can see you later, Tall. He doesn't have his flash either. That's going to be 2, and we're going for more under the turret.
Here we go.
Trying to get on top of them. The TP is going to be used. Faker is channeling the Rift Herald as they're dying.
Gives them a minion wave, right? It can tank up the aggro.
Very nice idea. How about a bunch of extra gold, as this game is one hell of a landslide in favor of SKT. They're going to get the 4 kills on the backside as well as the top turret.
And we're seeing the flip side of what a good international tournament can do. After a regular season that hasn't been ideal, Sangyu doesn't even get the extermination on the Rift Heralds. That means it gets another charge in. You see Khan walking on a ward. Remember, that's not Clid walking on a ward, but I just feel like Tal isn't playing around what's happening here. The lane ward comes down to spot when the next minion wave is exactly coming if there's any allies. Tal has literally nothing. The global taunt is successful, but it only brings death to the Yordle on the top side. And then we see this play where we mentioned if our life get contested, things are going to be bad. This would be the definition of bad.
The only way it could be worse is if everybody died. But thankfully, only one person survived, so it wasn't the literal worst. We see Khan gets away up in the top side. He's able to ult to the safety. But this definitely feels like one of those games where it's super early on, but you can already kind of tell who the victor is going to be.
Yep. We always talk recently after I was asked on stream about game pace versus game length. And the pace of this one, the game's basically decided. The length of it, we'll wait and see. It's How Life had the harder to execute comp. They can't really fall back to team fighting unless they have a vision lead, because Zoe from behind versus Zoe from ahead is very, very different. Will Kennen ever do damage? Gunblade is always a little bit less teamfight damage to begin, so with there being this much of a gold lead for SKT already, I think the SKT fans can probably adjust their chairs a bit, go get a snack, smile, and maybe tell their other friends that it's safe to come watch SKT again.
Yeah.
Because this looks like a better team post-Rift Rivals compared to Kingzone, who were struggling in our first series post-Rift Rivals.
You can see the Mountain Drake. The second one here is going to go the way of SKT. Life just using everything to take out that top turret, whereas SKT...
Gold Pinata, baby.
Yeah. Oh, boy. This is right before 14. Smack it as much as you can. Trying to get all the candy out of there.
And that's
finally.
Klepto ranged Kennen with Cull cashed in. It's still 4,000 gold lead to SKT. That is a lot. So what do you want to talk about, Valdez?
We can talk a little bit about TFT. We haven't done that today.
That will trigger, I would say, 20% of the chat and excite 80%. That seems to be the
Sounds
percentage.
perfect. I mean, that's kind of par for the course, right? I moved recently.
That's true. That is a...
Oh my god, what?
Remember, SKT was the Korean team that got the first Dream Game we talked
Yeah.
about, where you get all the turret plates and perfect game. They were too short, so we should have high standards, unlike our fellow co-caster, who's known for his low standards, and be very impressed with
Tom
SKT's
Kent's
early
gameplay?
game. It's Thomas Kent.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean...
Can you play TFT yet? Have you actually got your desk and your internet
So
stuff
I
sorted?
did. I got it all done yesterday.
I got a good one. You know
Yeah.
how to trigger the fans because they're not in Korea?
Yeah.
Talk about how long it took for you after you kind of got into your apartment to get your internet set up. How many days, months,
it was
and
set
hours
up
did it
when
take?
I got there.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you know, don't really waste any time. He decides that he's not going to flash for the kill, and they're just trying to hop on a Faker who is able to juke away Somehow, on the LeBlanc, just Faker things. Here comes the Kennen, trying to dunk down on the Aatrox. That's going to work out.
Sivir is so big!
And he's still able to do the damage from so low. Is Faker over that wall. Sleepy Trouble Bubble now coming on in as Faker, or rather not Faker, saying his name a lot nowadays. Effort goes in with the flash, will bite the dust, as perhaps that was a little bit too aggressive on the Lux.
Make a steal here. Lying in wait.
Waiting over here, being a ninja in his own right. Gets the electrocute proc. But the Kaisa is a little bit scary.
There's a camera cut there.
Jonah Strong, he's just a big Faker fan, so he wants to go and watch Faker.
You get to zoom out, look at the minion wave. That's why you keep brawling. That's why Faker didn't go for a full recall. Because the minion wave is pushing it at the same time. SKT, even though that was probably the best case scenario for Hanwha Life, they don't take any real dent into their gold lead. I guess you can be happy the kills are shared. It's not just all the gold on Teddy, but we know this is a very big Sivir already. Mid lane turret goes down. Sivir doesn't give too many cares about Hanwha Life Esports. They push through, and SKT seem fine for the run.
They're feeling pretty good about themselves right now. I'd just like to get a highlight reel of that last fight where Faker was able to escape and then help out on the kill. And thank you, Riot. You're going to help me see that right now.
The spotting from Clid was good. He saw one, but he didn't have exact movement onto the rest of Hanwha Life. He still was not in obvious range in the blue buff rush of the Colt that didn't go down. This is just Aatrox thinking that he's there for a flank, but ends up getting turned on too easily. So Khan was a bit too bold. The front line wasn't there. Clid wasn't in position to back him up. Then it was just a bit of cleaning up, you know. Faker decides to rejoin all of this picture in picture. Doesn't look like we've missed too much action just yet, but nice and easy when you got that extra gold on the members of SKT.
All right, trying to hop forward and do some more of that poke damage. We have the Cloud Drake coming up here, but not quite yet. SKT really just trying to fight, basically, see if they can find anyone.
As long as they employ the buddy system, the kind of single target burst that a Zoe is known for can be evaded a bit easier. Nice little pickup here from Effort as Faker.
Speaking of pickups, he's going to help out in that kill. Just right over the wall.
Sometimes you hit everything, and the Mikhail's Crucible from the Lux is going to allow them to go for those fishing plays over the wall and not be accountable. And a little highlight reel. This seems like an exhibition match for the huge SKT contingent we were mentioning before that have joined us live and around the world at LoL Park. SKT walk up, and again, it just feels like we're waiting to see the final timer behind a Game 1 SKT victory.
The big damages now from the LeBlanc, who is quite fed, 1-0-4. Just going to casually pick up the Cloud Drake here early, see what they can roll. It is going to be a second Cloud Drake, actually.
Khan's gone for the Youmu's Ghostblade Rush. I believe this was once an approach as we see Faker landing everything.
That gives vision, by the way. Lava forgot.
Lava did not have his cleanse available. About 15 seconds off cooldown now. SKT already thinking about things like Baron. Really comfortable spot as it all slides into place. And again, what I'll say is, compared to, say, the IG series where they had to battle back, the draft didn't help them, what I can say overall is that these recent couple of games with Effort have looked very one-minded. Like, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we do it. There's been no execution errors across the map when they're making plays cross-map. And that's a good look for SKT. It's very reminiscent when they were at their best in the spring season.
Yeah, I mean, they have a little bit of a hole to dig out of in the beginning here of Summer. Again, they're still 3-5 in the standings, and they're in 7th place. But if they can consistently win, especially up against some of the weaker teams in the region, then they can slowly build that up once again. And if they can beat the Chinese teams over at Rift Rivals, they can certainly also have a chance. As I'm going to have to hold my thought, as Faker was hiding there in the little edge and trying to heroic exit here. He's able to get away for now. And Clid cannot kill him on the backside, so Key with the heroic escape that time.
SKT knew exactly what to expect. Really nice binding hits both Bono and Lava. Faker gonna be able to get out. Killer Instinct won't be used here. Sangyu knows it'll be a one-way trip. But they knew exactly that someone was there, assumed it was Galio, played with their food, and only just the exact frame of the hero's entrance, or the hero's exit as it was, means the Key doesn't go down.
The hero's escape, to add another E word into all of those ones. How's the S word looking now after Rift Rivals? You see a lot of scaling from the teams nowadays?
I feel like what we used to consider scaling drafts, for example, Sivir Aatrox, kind of in a vacuum, like scaling drafts, so they are getting there a bit more. Whenever Azir is kind of pick ban, you know, the scaling is there in a place. But I think the Sivir works because Lux makes an actual kill threat in lane. Like, the difference between Sivir Lux and Sivir Braum is actually pretty insane. And I think that's why a champion like Sivir is getting run. Much less about 6-item Sivir. It's 2-item Sivir that's doing the big work in LCK Summer 2019.
It's cool stuff to see. Teddy having a much better game this time around, but to be honest, it was kind of just following the direction. Yeah, the way the wind is blowing, kind of, you know. You put up your sail and see what happens.
I lick my finger and check. It seems to be blowing left to right.
You think so?
Yeah, it seems to
in
be
the direction of Hamalite.
It does appear to be blowing that way, and I think that SKT are very quickly going that way.
Yeah, they can't help it. You know, they got
a strong
their
breeze.
Sails up.
And gets caught, but
yeah.
You've seen that defensive Zoe, right? Much harder to turn it into damage.
Yeah, Faker does damage, and the fans like it. And it's pretty much with no punishment, as he's just able to do LeBlanc things.
SKT controls about 65 to 70% of the map, and it feels like, as we say it, it becomes more sneaky ward, behind the back, in a turret, indefensible for Hanwha Life. Just no momentum can be gained. The cannon serves no role this far behind. Binding hits, and you can just take him down on the turret.
Remember, this is all done without Baron, as Faker going to lock down the cannon here on the hunt from Keddy, trying to get Khan in range, but doesn't quite land as Tal is able to flash away.
Hanwha Life can try running a Baron, but their Baron isn't even that fast. It will influence the positioning, and they're saying, all right, let's start it. One Mountain Drake. All right, SKT. TP coming in. Clid gets there around 6,000.
Let's see what Clid can do as, okay, it's going to actually be Khan trying to start this one up. Perfect timing on the stopwatch there. As Tal also going to stopwatch. In Clid goes and he steals it away. And you'd have to imagine the kills are only going to follow as everybody on the side of Hanwha Life. There is no escape. The Baron and 5 kills will go to SKT.
Almost a perfect ace and Baron steal. Only Clid pays for the sins of his Smite steal. Hanwha Life just say, let's YOLO Baron. It's our best way back into the game. And you know what? They're probably right. They tried something. They get killed for doing it. It's better than watching 3 inhibitors go down and 10 extra minutes into the game. It won't help their average game time. It won't hurt it, though. It'll be shorter.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of teams that do that, you know. Either go for a big gank brush or just do a desperation Baron attempt. You never know what crazy stuff is going to happen. If they just sat back, they were going to lose anyway. So
yeah, we were calling it like 11 minutes. So I think Hanwha Life made the right call of, well, worst, you know, if we get a Baron here, we either take it off the map and get aced, or we maybe escape with 1 or 2 and try to play a side lane. Olaf jungle from behind, Zoe jungle from behind, Kennen not able to...
jungle?
Zoe mid.
Pog champ.
I see you've been watching Twitch chat in the champ select before.
Oh, yeah.
YOLO Baron is not always bad when you're this far behind. Desperation Baron starts. Desperation Baron. Let's see how close it gets before the Smite actually secures it. 322 health, so it was actually on the closer side. Ends up being claimed by SKT. I don't want to go over the replay.
No.
Wallet smacking somewhere. Atlas puts his thumbs up.
탑으로 가자, 탑으로 가자. 탑으로 안 끝나 이거.
I did not hear what he said, but Faker said to end the game.
Well, They weren't able to oblige Faker, so you're going to have to live with the game going just a bit longer. You're also going to have to live with doing the least damage, lol, on the left side of the screen. Lol. He does have the most Magi stacks. He's got 9 Dark Seal stacks, so he's on the way to stacking up a winner. So he's got that goal, bro.
Maybe he can build a book before the game is done. Vano has to ult here. Just getting poked in the back as he's walking out. No luck for him, as it's just hunting season on the side of SKT.
The only place to hide is in that fountain. 6,000 Baron buff power play for a team that was already winning, if you don't mind.
Well, Hama's down 13,000 gold. Tal is... he showed himself as... I didn't even see the Olaf die. It looks like he just died there on the backside, and now Clid is chasing out that guy.
Yakety sacks for Clid on the other side of the screen. 4v3, and also that Nexus. Hama Life trying to protect KDA.
Run into the fountain, boys.
Oh, it's a 1v1 here.
The standoff. GG. 26.5 minutes, SKT made it seem like it was a scrim.